In this video, I'm going to share with you a standing sequence that you can do with me. It'll only take us about 10 minutes and you'll feel great after. So let's begin in Tadasana. So starting in Tadasana, you want to make sure that you create a nice strong base. So we're going to lift our toes, spread them wide, place them back down, and press evenly through all four corners of our feet, meaning the big toe mound, the baby toe mound, and the two outer edges of our heels. Next, we want to draw our kneecaps in just enough to start to lift and engage the muscles in our quadriceps and our hamstrings. Then as our hips sort of become a little bit more engaged and tighter together, we're going to start to lift the sides of the body up, tucking the tailbone in and drawing the abdomen back to support our spine. Let the shoulder blades glide down and in towards each other, and that will create a nice open chest here. Standing in Tadasana for a few breaths. Using this as our centering, try to keep the chin level with the floor and in line with your sternum as the crown of the head lifts up. Next, you're going to bring your fingers together right in front of your chest, and you're either going to step or jump your feet out wide. So as you take your feet out wide, try to make them even at about a 3, so you're in this 5-point star. Fingers are extending out, feet are about 3 feet apart, and you're lifting up through your arms so that you engage the biceps and triceps and draw them in towards the bone. Keep the legs engaged, keep them nice and straight, and don't forget to tuck your tailbone and draw the shoulder blades down, moving those shoulders away from the ears. Crown of the head keeps looking up and keep that chin nice and even here. Next, we're going to turn our whole right leg out. So as I pivot on my heel, I move my whole from my hip all the way to my foot and then place my foot down so that I still have all four corners of the feet on the floor. Next, we're going to move into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So as I inhale, I lift and lengthen, and then as I exhale, I start to side bend to the right here. Now my hand might come to the floor, but it might not. So find a spot that works for you. Just make sure that you don't put any pressure on your knee that doesn't need to be there. So as I inhale, lift and lengthen, exhale, moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Now I know in Jiu-Jitsu people have a lot of tight shoulders and this hand up here might be bothering you already. Just lay it down on the side, it's not a big deal. Start to open the chest and slowly you'll begin to get a little bit more mobility into this shoulder. Otherwise, keeping this arm lifted, you can start to look up at those fingers. And then staying here for a couple of breaths. I want to keep my legs straight, I want to keep them engaged, and I want to keep moving my hips out so that I create this nice strong triangle form. And then on an inhale, I'll firm into my legs, keeping the arms outstretched, turning the right leg in, and then extending the left leg out. Same thing, inhale, lift and lengthening, exhale, moving into Trikonasana on the other side. Keeping that arm up if it's appropriate, or if I need to bring it down, that's okay. I want to keep this openness in my chest as I revolve towards the ceiling and looking up at that hand if I can, making sure that my legs stay nice and straight here, and I keep pressing strongly down through the four corners of my feet and through the outer edge of that right foot to keep that leg engaged. Staying here for a few breaths, and then inhaling and coming up. Hopefully you can keep your arms up, but if they are getting tired, just bringing them down to your hips and giving them a rest is okay too. The next one we're going to do is Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So as I inhale, my arms will come up again, shoulder height, extending out through my fingers, keeping my chin in line with the sternum and looking straight ahead. Same thing, tucking the tailbone, drawing the shoulder blades down. I'm going to rotate my full right leg to face out. This time I'm just going to bend the right leg and I want it to come to 90 degrees here. So if I feel like it's going over my ankle, I'm just going to adjust with the back leg and keep this so that I'm working to get my thigh down closer towards the floor. Keep extending back through that outer edge of that heel, and then here you can turn your head to look over the right hand. Keep the left hand pressing back so that you're not leaning forward, and standing in Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Keep thinking as you inhale that you're lifting and lengthening the sides of your body, not allowing them to collapse. And as you exhale, maybe you can draw your thigh a little bit closer towards the floor. And then on my next inhale, I'll straighten my leg, turn my head to face forward, bring that right leg forward, and then extending out the left leg and repeating on the left side. So lifting my toes, pressing them down, exhaling, bending that knee so that it doesn't come above 90, and then coming into Virabhadrasana 2. Extending back through my fingers, opening my chest, looking over those left fingers, staying in this very proud warrior pose. And again, thinking as I inhale, I lift the sides of my body so I don't feel a collapse here. And as I exhale, I allow the thigh to move closer towards the floor. And then on the next inhale, coming up, again, leaving your hands up if you can, turning that leg to face forward, and then one more pose in this configuration. So turning that right leg out one more time. This time we'll go into Parsvakonasana. So as I extend out into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2, I'll pause here for a second, and then this time I'm gonna fold over that leg. So again, you can bring your hand just to your thigh if bringing it to the floor isn't accessible, and then reaching over. So in English, this is the extreme stretch to the north, and you should feel a stretch around this whole side of your body. So as I press strongly down through the outer edge of my left heel, I extend out through those fingers, and I get a really nice long stretch here. Stay here for a few breaths. And then on the next inhale, coming all the way up, straightening the leg, turning the right leg in, repeating on the left. Lifting the toes, placing the foot down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bending that the left leg, and then folding over, extending out through the right fingers, pressing strongly back through the outer edge of the right foot. Parsvakonasana on the other side. And then inhaling, coming up. Turn that leg to face forward. Now you might want to put your feet a little bit pigeon-toed. Hands are going to come to the hips. And then you're just gonna exhale and release into Parsvakonasana, which is a nice release here. You can let your arms hang down, thumbs come into the elbow creases, and then just let your head hang. If you find that it's a little bit too much on your knees, put a small bend into the knees and just let your body hang here. Working to straighten them and lifting the hips will start to help you bring yourself a little closer towards the floor. Just staying here for a couple of breaths. And then as you're ready to come up, bringing the hands to the hips, inhaling and coming all the way up. You can heel toe your feet back, or you can jump them back and end yourself back up into Tadasana. So let's look at as a flow. And always stopping in Tadasana, taking a few breaths here, rebalancing. Up to you, you can keep repeating the same sequence, or as you get a little bit better, you can hold each pose a little bit longer. So that is an essential standing sequence that anyone can do anytime, anywhere. Hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you hit the like button, share it with your friends. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, and that way you don't miss out on any of these yoga flows. Have a great day.